Whoa. Did you hear that or was that just on my end?
It was me too.
You heard it too?
Yeah, and it
Oh,
popped
sorry.
up. It had a little
We're
pop up.
live.
We're live.
No, like, okay, this must be new then because Zoom never did this before. So, like, I hit record and the thing went recording now in progress. Like, I never did that before.
Yeah, and it bubble popped up and said like I had to hit continue. It's like, oh, we need your consent to record. I was like, okay,
Oh, for real? They do that now?
I guess I don't know.
That's wild.
Anyway,
Zoom must be like a monopoly at this point, don't you think?
I mean, probably they probably made buckets of money
Why stop
since the
people?
beginning of last year.
Anyway, this is Sports Show DJ Matt here. As always,
We are
DJ,
back
we're back.
after one of our mini hiatuses.
Well, we weren't really on hiatus per
I
se.
mean,
We
we
still had
kind
the
of
radio
were.
show. It was just school got hectic, so I had to like it was
Yeah,
too much for me. We'll try again next semester, hopefully.
hopefully.
Put the radio show on the YouTube. But this is our summer show, like we did last year. Basically same thing like the radio show is just but on Zoom.
Pre-recorded, so
Yeah. All right. So remember to like, subscribe, comment. So let's get started then. The first place I want to go is today is June 1st. And today is the day that if any trade could happen for Julio Jones, it might happen. Like, because after, I think 3 o'clock today, Central Time, I think the salary hit for him gets lowered. So he'd be easier to trade. So everyone's thinking, well, after 3 o'clock today, now it's on who's going to get Julio. Because Julio
right.
is basically requested a trade. Shannon Sharp did him dirty on Undisputed and like
Well,
in the middle of a show.
I mean, okay, but this is the thing about that, and people are saying that he didn't say it, but at the same time, I'm sure Julio knew that Shannon Sharp was on the air at that time because they're usually on the air at the same time every day.
But I mean, I don't want to get into that because I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't affect me none. But he became my new favorite player. He was like, I don't want to go to no Dallas Cowboys. I was like,
Yeah, he said I want to win. I'm not going to the Cowboys.
good job,
And I'm sure
Julio.
Skip was like, oh God.
Anyway, so about 3 o'clock today, I will be on Julio watch. Now, there's a couple of teams that could use him. I'm looking at the Ravens. I think if the Ravens got him, I know they just added Sammy Watkins, but if they believe Lamar Jackson can throw the ball, you get Julio. That way, that can be, upgraded, and they can really, I think, be in the running for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean, whether or not you believe that Lamar Jackson can throw the ball, having Julio will make it easier for him to throw the ball. There will be more chances for him to, just put it in Julio's general area. He will probably come down with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have Hollywood Brown. He's a really solid receiver, but I don't. I had him on fantasy, which he was the biggest bust I had on fantasy. I don't know why, but he just was. Like, he's not a number one receiver. He's like a number two. Like if you have
Yeah,
Julio,
definitely. He's definitely like a slot guy, I would say.
yeah, and then with Sammy Watkins as well. I mean, that's a solid receiving core. And plus, Mark Andrews I think, is a top 5 tight end probably in the NFL. So in terms of weapons for Lamar, they would have it with Julio. Another place, potentially, New England could be a place. Tennessee
Yeah.
could be a place. No, Tennessee's vying hard. I know AJ Brown wants him there. I don't want him there because I mean I'm a Colts fan. Um, but I mean the Colts are in play too. Actually, in a weird way, they're actually in play. So where would you like to see him go? I mean, I said Baltimore, but I don't know. I mean,
Baltimore's a good place. I mean, I don't I think I think it would benefit Tennessee a lot if he went there. And I know you're a Colts fan, but like having Julio, there's more like, and I know that AJ Brown is a good receiver, but there's more of a chance that whenever you're playing the Titans, it's like, okay, even though they have Derrick Henry, there's also a good chance that the ball could be going to Julio or AJ Brown. So it really opens up their offense more because right now, it there's really one of two places that it can go. It could be the AJ Brown or Derrick Henry. So you just I'm not saying double, but it's easier to stop. But if you have Julio, that's the guy that you have to double. So that gives AJ Brown more opportunities. Plus, you also have to take into consideration Derrick Henry. I think I think he's probably going to go AFC, and I think Tennessee is probably the best fit for him. With another guy across the field from him that could also get reps.
you know what AJ Brown reminds me of? DK Metcalf. He's like the AFC's version of DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty big and like I don't know. But like Seattle's also been rumored as well to maybe be in the Julio sweepstakes, and that would make sense. I know they have Lockett and Metcalf, but like I think Metcalf would really serve better as a number 2 guy anyway.
Yeah.
Like AJ
But I
Brown,
don't know. I really see him going outside of the NFC. Like I really see them wanting to put him in the AFC instead of the NFC.
yeah. If I'm Atlanta, that's what I'm looking for an AFC team. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of places that he could potentially go. I mean, he makes any team better automatically. Like this just popped in my brain. The Chargers. If you went to the Chargers, that would
That
just
would be a ridiculous receiving core with him and
yeah,
Keenan Allen. Like that, I think that right there would already be the best receiving core in the NFL.
yeah.
Like right away.
I haven't heard it in any rumors or anything. It just came up in my head. Like the Chargers would be a good fit. I think new coach. You got to make I think the Chargers are the second best team in that division behind the Chiefs, obviously. So
Yeah. I think with Julio, Justin Herbert could really make some strides.
with Keenan Allen, and plus also
Yeah.
the Chargers, they lost Hunter Henry to New England, so they do need another weapon, I guess.
Yeah.
But I definitely like the Chargers this year a lot. All right, so we touched on this ever since the Jordan Love stuff, but the Aaron Rodgers drama, whew,
Ongoing.
ouch. On draft night, it broke that the Aaron Rodgers was pretty much fed up with the organization and all that stuff. Nothing has changed really since, nothing new, but yeah, it's like I said, June 1st. If anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be after today.
Yeah.
So
And I mean,
when it gets lower.
I mean, it feels like the Broncos is like the most obvious spot, but I feel like Broncos is also the one that makes the most sense if he were to go now. Since draft night, Aaron Rodgers has come out and clarified it's nothing with the players. It's definitely the front office, which makes sense. I mean, and you've had multiple quarterbacks, especially Alex Smith. He went on the herd and he said, yeah, whenever they drafted Patrick Mahomes, I was involved. Like since it happened, we're getting a bunch of quarterbacks that are coming out. Like you said, yeah, whenever a quarterback was drafted, I was in the know about what was happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about people who make millions and millions of dollars, but also it's understandable. Like, okay, you didn't even tell me that we're drafting my replacement, and I mean, at this point, with him not showing up to OTAs, I think everybody's making a big deal about that because they're not mandatory, they're optional. But I would, and the GM is saying that he's not trading him, but I think you just trade him right now, get what you can for him, because the closer that we get to the season starting, probably the less that you're going to be able to get for him, because by then quarterback camps will be happening. More teams will be like, okay, I'm okay with my guy. I'm not going to give up a bunch of stuff for Aaron Rodgers. But right now, they're more likely to give up a lot more for Rodgers than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Goodikins is he's not a terrible GM because they built a good roster, but like just perspective. A team in their division, the Bears, they signed Andy Dalton just this year, and they even told him they're going to draft Justin Fields. Like, and Andy Dalton's only been in that organization for maybe a month at that point.
Never played a snap for the Bears, and
Exactly.
he was notified.
And when Tampa Bay drafted Kyle Trask, they told Tom Brady, "Look, we're going to draft him here because we don't know how long you're going to play. I mean, Tom Brady's going to play another 50 years, but."
Right, which I mean, even though there's zero chance that Kyle Trask would take Tom Brady's starting spot, but like still, like it's just a courtesy. Like, hey, we know you're a starting quarterback, but we just wanted to let you know drafting a quarterback has nothing to do with you.
Like, you don't think the 49ers told Jimmy G, hey, we're going to trade up to probably get a quarterback. We don't know who yet, but we're going to trade up to get the next guy, probably.
Yeah, they were definitely keeping all these quarterbacks in the loop. I mean, it's the least that you can do.
Yeah, and look, if it would have comes down to for Aaron Rodgers to return to Green Bay is to fire Goodikins. If I'm the president, because Green Bay doesn't have an owner, which I think is actually a detriment to them at this point. Because like if they had an owner, like a voice that's like overrules everybody, this might have been solved already.
Yeah, he would have been going right away. Like the second Aaron Rodgers would have said, I want him going, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. So the president is basically the owner, but he's not the owner, but he's the owner, the president. If Rodgers said to me, hey, it's either me or the GM, bye-bye GM, like that's the no-brainer to me. Even though he did build a good roster, but still, like if your player's unhappy with a guy, like Rodgers has earned that right to say who he wants in the organization. Like Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady, basically everybody that's in Tampa Bay, Tom Brady okayed. Like Antonio Brown, you have issues, but hey, come on, I'll take you in. You know what I mean? Like Tom Brady is running the show. And
Yeah,
that's what Aaron
as he
Rodgers
should.
wants. Yeah, as he should. And they won a Super Bowl because of it. And I think that also magnified this whole situation as well. If he didn't win the Super Bowl, maybe this is different. But I think Rodgers is seeing that and going, well, I mean, give me some more control. Like, you're not like, they released Jordy Nelson without him knowing. They fired his quarterbacks coach without him knowing. They've done stuff behind his back. And it's like,
Yeah, and I know that whenever it came out, like that guy, that wide receiver, like that nobody wide receiver that Aaron Rodgers praised, and then the next day that I got rid of. It's not the point that he's a nobody wide receiver. It's the fact that your quarterback is coming out publicly and saying, "I like this guy's work ethic." Yeah, he's not Devontae Adams, but I like this guy's work ethic. And what do you respond by doing? Getting rid of that person? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
yeah. And it's like, and the same thing, it's kind of like the New England situation when Tom Brady was leaving. It's like, who was more responsible for the success? Was it Brady or Belichick? And now it's like, well, Gutekunst did on paper build a really good roster. I mean, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones and Robert Tunyon. There's a lot of good guys on that team. But if you take Aaron Rodgers off and let's say Jordan Love gets in, how much is the drop off? Like, is how much how responsible is Aaron Rodgers for the success?
And we
So
don't know, and we just don't know.
So that situation, I think, I mean, I don't think he's going to get traded this year. I think he's just going to sit out this year. Honestly, I don't know. Like, anything could happen at this point.
I mean,
Now,
but I guess it just comes down to how much they trust Jordan Love. Like,
I mean, look, last year they didn't have a preseason, so we didn't really get any chance to see him. And another thing too, they didn't even dress him out for a lot of the games. They didn't even give him a headset. He was in the stands, like with the practice squad or whatever. Like what's up with that? Like, if he's the next guy, you would have him on the sideline, dressed out with the headset, learning from Aaron, going through all the plays. Like that. I don't know. That's weird to me. Like, I just don't know why they're not doing that with him.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's move on to something that, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Tim Tebow is at training camp. Well, OTAs really with the Jaguars right now for tight end. Everyone when they heard this was like, no way. My first reaction, look, they're coming out saying this now, but this is what I originally thought when I heard it. I immediately went to Taysom Hill whenever I heard he was signing with the Jaguars. Everyone's now catching up to that. Like, I kind of thought that from the beginning, so I want to take credit for that. Although I didn't say it publicly, this is the first time I'm saying it, but like, I thought it whenever it happened. Think about this. So, like, okay, Tim Tebow was done dirty by the NFL, was done dirty by Peyton Manning, because at the year after they won that playoff game in Pittsburgh, Peyton Manning came and they shipped Tebow out. Tebow went to Philly. Philly was nothing at that point. Then he went to the Jets, and we all know how bad the Jets are. Then he went to
Yeah.
the Patriots. You're not taking over from Tom Brady. So he was screwed over, I think, ultimately. Because I thought he would have had a really good career. I mean, he in his like rookie season, he like won a playoff game, like in overtime. Like, pretty impressive in my opinion. But anyway, so now Urban Meyer's coach, former college coach for Tebow. Now he's back as tight end. Everyone's saying this is a bad move. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, wait a minute. Schematically, this could work, because if you're the defense playing Jacksonville and Tebow's on the field with Lawrence, what are you going to do on defense? Like, because Tebow can throw it, he can run it, he can catch it, he can block it. Like, what are you going to do? So I think, like Taysom Hill, I think it could work. Like, that's what I immediately thought of.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, like, first off, you got to take into account that Urban Meyer was the college coach, so helping out somebody from that got you a lot of success. But secondly, you look at Tim Tebow could be a guy like that could mentor, not necessarily mentor Trevor Lawrence, but like could be a veteran presence. I mean, obviously we know that he is a locker room leader. I mean, really that's what he can be there for. And everyone's like, oh, they already have a bunch of tight ends on that roster. It's like, listen, why not? Why not have a guy like Tim Tebow? And like you said, Taysom Hill, and it's coming out now that could be how he's used. If that's how he's used, that's how he's used. I mean, apparently there might be some sets where all three of Gardner Minshew, Trevor Lawrence, and Tim Tebow are on the field at the same time. So, I mean, who knows how those plays could turn out. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about the Jaguars. We're not talking about the Chiefs or the Ravens or the 49ers. I mean, listen, I know you guys got Trevor Lawrence, but like, you are still the Jaguars, okay? Unless you win some games this year, I really don't care at the end of the day, So, and then of course everybody had to bring up, Colin Kaepernick, but it's just Tim Tebow. We're talking about Tim Tebow. Just leave it to be Tim Tebow.
I gotta say, those press sessions in that locker room about to be lit. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't believe in Jesus then, when you see Tebow, you're going to believe in Jesus. I mean, that's just the way it is. So,
I love all the people saying, like, if Trevor Lawrence passes a touchdown to Tim Tebow, don't turn on ESPN for the next week.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, do not turn on ESPN for the next week because that's all you're going to hear.
Everyone's worried about, like, if he's going to catch a touchdown pass, whatever. I think the more important question is how many passes is he going to throw? Because it's kind of hard to resist not to have him throw a pass. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you run? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, schematically, if you're the defense, like, no matter where he lined up, what is going to go down? Because, like with Taysom Hill, although now it's become a little bit more predictable because all he does is run it. They don't really do much different with him anymore. But when it first started out, it was like, well, what are we doing? Like, the defense now has to really, like, react. And that.
Yeah, I mean, even Saints fans didn't know what was about to happen. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, so I think oddly, like, the optics don't look that great, but like schematically, I'm thinking this could work. Like, it's not the most outlandish thing I've seen in the NFL. Like, it could work.
And I mean, look, you got a team full of young guys. I don't get what's wrong with bringing in a veteran presence. Like, teams do this all the time, just to be veteran presences. But it's just because it's Tim Tebow, everybody has a problem. But if it was literally any other veteran, literally nobody would care. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, now this could totally fail. I mean, I don't.
And I mean, it probably will. I mean, again, we're talking about Jacksonville Jaguars here, but you know.
Yeah. But the good news is for Jacksonville is they're not going to be as bad as Houston this year. I think Houston's going to be.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, they have a really good running back room. Other than that, they ain't got nothing.
Well, yeah.
So there's that. Let's swap over to the NBA. The fans are back in the stands, and they're going crazy.
Their presence is definitely being known. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, everyone's out there condemning the fans, and what they're doing is wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, they
Yes.
should never do that. But, like, I like disruption. I like things that are just crazy. You know, like, I like drama in my games, right? So, like, and like, okay, like a streaker. They had a streaker at the Super Bowl, and it made that Super Bowl infinitely better because Tampa Bay won, and that was horrible. So I'm happy the streaker came because it gave us something fun to talk about. But I mean, so you had the fan that threw popcorn at Westbrook when he was that was really bad. Then you have the spitting on Trae Young, which is
the water bottle.
The water bottle on Kyrie. You had the fans yelling at John Morant's parents. And then you had the streaker last night. So what's going to happen tonight in the games? Like, what's the next thing? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, again, we're talking popcorn. We're talking about a water bottle. We're talking about yelling. Like, these are grown men. These are athletes. Like, again, it's wrong. It shouldn't be getting done. But at the same time, I don't know.
I still remember I was watching that. This was when Russ was still in OKC, and they were playing Philly at Philly. And I remember I posted on Snapchat when it happened. They had this, like, older guy, and apparently he's a doctor or something. And, like, he was, like, by the basket, and, like, when Russ, like, got fouled or something, he flipped him off. And Russ's reaction, he was like, that guy or whatever. And again, he banned him from the arena, or he got kicked out. And I'm like, the middle finger really, like, I feel like he shouldn't have gotten kicked out for that.
I mean, can we go back to whenever the Pacers just decided to clear out the stands? Like, that was entertaining. Yeah, people still talk about that.
Well, Meta World Peace went on Undisputed, I think, to talk about the fan stuff, and he was like, yeah, but, like, he said, like, he saw the guy who threw it. It's like it was a cup or something. I forgot what he said, but it was like a thing where it's like I knew the guy who threw it, and I was going after him or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was a fascinating conversation because he would know about fans' interaction because, I mean, he's the one that
And listen, let me tell you, I will gladly get paid millions of dollars a year for people to throw popcorn and water bottles at me. Like, yes, please throw what you need to throw at me for me to make that kind of money. I will do it.
If I'm sitting courtside, though, like, the last thing I want to do is make one of the players mad because I know they can beat me up. I'm like, I'm just gonna enjoy. I paid $1,000 for these seats. I'm just gonna enjoy. I'm just gonna keep quiet and enjoy myself. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, in the Kyrie situation, I mean, he did stomp on the logo. Of course, it was
petty.
After game or whatever. I don't know. It's whatever.
I don't know. I don't think that was the reason why he threw the Kyrie even said before the game in Boston, he was like, "Yeah, there's probably going to be something that's going to happen." Like he kind of predicted it, but that was after the other events though, like the popcorn and the spitting and all that.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like it's like every night, the last 3 nights we've had fan incidents. It's crazy. I don't condone it, but I mean, it's kind of entertaining. I mean,
It's
as
entertaining.
people watching, it's like, oh.
I mean, no matter what, all of this is sports entertainment.
I mean,
You
well,
know,
think about
so
this. It's like, okay, some of these series are kind of boring. Like the Celtics Nets series, right? Okay, the Celtics won a game. Okay, cool, good for them. But I mean, they were getting blown out. The Celtics were getting blown out the other night whenever they threw the bottle. So that was the most interesting thing that happened the whole game was the fan throwing the bottle. I was
and I
like,
mean, same thing with the Wizards and the 76ers. Just like
yeah, these fans are wild. So I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. It could be anything. I don't know how they up their game from here. But I'm here for it. I mean, anything funny, I'm good with it.
yeah, anything honestly.
So let's get to the actual playoffs itself. Which series you want to start at? We can start at any series you want.
Let's talk about the only one that's over so far.
Well, Boston, New York, Brooklyn.
The Milwaukee and Miami.
Oh yeah. I forgot they swept the Heat.
Yeah, they swept the Heat. Defending Eastern Conference champs just got swept. Now, I'm not putting an asterisk next to any championships. However, it doesn't look good whenever, the people who just made it to the finals just got swept in the first round.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. The Bucks got better though. Like they added Drew
Holiday, and the Bucks did get better, but it felt like Miami wasn't even putting up like a fight at all.
I give them a pass though, because I mean, like I said, they had a shortened offseason because of the final run that they went on. And it's like they didn't have a lot of time to recuperate, and they played a long season, So I kind of give them a pass for it. It's like, I didn't expect them to do much anyways. I mean, Brooklyn and Philly are the big two, and then I mean, Milwaukee can easily contend any of those two other teams.
I really think that Milwaukee, with the addition of Drew Holiday, has just been. I honestly at this point could see realistically Milwaukee going to the finals and beating.
Oh yeah.
Out Brooklyn. I can see it happening.
I can too. I mean, they're playing next. I think Milwaukee Brooklyn's next series. I want to say after Brooklyn.
I'm not sure, but
it's because Milwaukee's the 3, and Brooklyn's the 2. So they would have to play each other because the 76ers are playing the Hawks because the Knicks ain't winning that series. They're going to be playing the Hawks. So it's going to be Bucks Brooklyn round 2, which should be very interesting. I'm excited for that series.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Knicks Hawks. Okay, so this has been running on ESPN now. It's like, what's worse, Cowboys fans or Knicks fans? I'm like, they're like the Knicks fans are basically the Cowboy fans of the NBA. After they won Game 2, they tied the series. They were chanting outside Madison Square Garden, "We want Brooklyn," and then they go on to lose the next 2 games.
Like you gotta get to Brooklyn in the first place.
Like you gotta they didn't even win the series. Like you're already chanting, "You want Brooklyn," but yet you're getting beat by the Hawks. Like this is what the Nets are gonna do to you. I mean, like Jesus Christ.
It's ridiculous.
Like, I'm happy for the Knicks, by the way. They had a great season. I mean, they're gonna lose the series, but they had a great season. All things considered, Julius Randle won Most Improved Player, deserved it.
As he should have.
Been balling. I love Derrick Rose. I'm happy for him. So I mean, they got a bright future, I guess. But I mean, they got that stupid fans.
Yeah, I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know.
It seems like in the East, like all of these series, like they're all gonna be 4-0 or 4-1. Like I really feel like tonight, all of the series for the East are gonna be decided. Yeah. Like we're gonna know after Game 5, all of the Eastern Conference, and I really think Lakers, Suns, Trailblazers, Nuggets. I think that those could potentially go 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day too. It's like because usually in the West, because of the Warriors and all that, it was like, oh yeah, we know who's coming out of the West, and then the East is like, well, LeBron. But now it's like we kind of know who's still coming out of the East. It's either gonna be Milwaukee, Philly, or Brooklyn.
Right.
But in the West, any of these series, it's like anything can happen. Like the Lakers could get bounced in the first round. The Mavericks.
Which I hope. I'm praying to the basketball gods that it happens.
Because if the Suns get past the Lakers, I think they're my favorites to go to the finals. Honestly, if Chris Paul stays healthy, he gets back to where he was. But like, if they're healthy, I think the Suns are my favorite to go to the finals for the West if they beat LA. The
Yeah.
Mavericks were looking good for a second, and then Luka got the neck strain or whatever. So I don't know. It's a tied series. That could go either way too. It's like I can't predict it. Like I don't know who's winning, who's doing what.
And I mean, look, even the Jazz Grizzlies. I mean, I know Jazz are up 3-1. It's not like the Grizzlies are laying down and just taking it. They're definitely putting up that fight.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they win the next game, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think the Jazz are going to win that series. But like, that's the only series I can predict right now, though. All the other series, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I really, well, I mean, I guess with the Lakers, we'll have to see what happens with AD.
Yeah.
I'm just praying for the Suns, man. And it's not even that I'm so anti-Lakers. I'm very pro Suns right now. I just really want to see the Suns make a run.
Like, okay, Chris Paul deserves a ring. Like he deserves at least a chance at a ring.
Something.
This might be his best chance, honest to God. And like,
see, if LeBron was a good friend, he would just throw the series.
Yeah, for real. I mean, here's the thing. It's like the Lakers' success hinges on AD. And I was thinking about this the other day too. I was like, whenever he was in New Orleans, yeah, the front office was terrible. And, they only made one good move maybe to get DeMarcus Cousins, but that didn't work out because Cousins got hurt and all that. But we never took into consideration AD is injury prone. Like, how many seasons were kind of ruined because he was hurt for an extended amount of time?
All of them. Like, all of them, honestly.
So, as much as the front office is to blame, and I think most of the blame is on them. But AD, I mean, I thought it was going to happen last year. But since he had that break because of COVID and they came back in the bubble, he was healthy. So
but
he didn't. Now it's like, oh, now we're getting the AD that we kind of remember, always getting hurt and all this and that. So I knew it was going to come. It came a little late, but it came,
It came. Yeah,
so I don't think he's going to play in game 5. And if he doesn't play in game 5, I think the Suns have a really good shot at winning that game. And
yeah, I think they'll take a 3-2 lead. And then at that point, you just got to win one of the two.
They have home court. They'll have game 7 in Phoenix if it ever comes down to it. So, I mean, I just think it'd be hilarious if the Lakers get bounced in the first round. I just think it'd be awesome. Like,
I would love it. I would love it. I would love it so much. And it's so beautiful. Like the two teams that were in the finals last year get bounced in the first round. There's nothing better. And I mean, of course, it being the Lakers is just
again.
beautiful.
I'm not anti-Lakers because like I've grown up a Lakers fan. I grew up rooting for Kobe and all of them. Like I love the Lakers. I've always grown to love the Lakers. But like, I don't like the way LeBron does business. I just don't like it. And it's like you ruined a small market franchise that can barely get free agents. You took their best player they've ever had, probably. Although I put Chris Paul above AD, honestly. But still, like, you kind of screwed that franchise over. We got lucky with Zion, but still, like, we got screwed over at the end of the day.
Yeah, we did.
So that just irked me the wrong way. And I still like LeBron. It's just to me, he's never gonna pass Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? It's just at this point, like he can win 3 more championships if he wants. He's not passing Michael Jordan. He's doing too much. He's trying too hard.
And I mean, unless you give me a guy who goes undefeated in the finals, 3-peats, especially in this day and age where there's so many more super teams.
Yeah.
Like let's say Giannis with Brooklyn goes and wins 2 in a row with Brooklyn in there, with all the teams that are in the East. If Giannis starts doing stuff like that, that's pretty impressive. But we're talking about LeBron, who basically slept through the East, won a few rings, and then came to the West, won in a bubble where he didn't even play the Clippers. He didn't play any of the top teams that were in the West, arguably. So, I mean,
they were struggling in the first round of that series too. I mean, the Blazers gave them room for their money for a little bit there, and then the Heat came in the finals, and like the Heat looked like they almost was going to win that thing for a second.
So I mean, again, I don't want to put an asterisk on any championships because I don't think any championship deserves to have an asterisk on it because you're playing series. It's not like you're playing one game, but even so, like
it was a weird thing for me too because like I said, I grew up liking the Lakers. I grew up rooting for Kobe, so I'm happy they won it for Kobe in that.
And I'm happy AD got a ring, but
Yeah, I'm happy he got his ring, but now screw him. You know what I mean? Like I'm done with him. Like I don't know.
Caruso got his ring, so there we go.
Alex Caruso got a ring before Chris Paul did. Like what kind of world we're living in? Also, J.R. Smith also got a ring before Chris Paul did.
Yeah.
What a world. Yeah. So I think this.
I really hope Chris Paul isn't one of those guys who I think if he retires without a ring, he will probably become the best player to never win a ring. Honestly.
Well, he still got Charles Barkley. I don't know if he overtakes Charles Barkley, but he's top 5 for sure. Top 5.
I don't know, man. We're talking about Chris Paul, point guard over here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also
It's close. There's definitely an argument that can be made. If not,
there is an argument for sure. I'm rooting for the Suns. If the Mavericks get beat by the Clippers or whatever, like I'm all in on the Suns. Like I'm still rooting for the Mavericks because Luka, but like if the Mavericks get bounced, I'm gonna be rooting for the Suns like wholeheartedly.
yeah. And I mean, Devin Booker slowly becoming one of those players that I just really like rooting for. You know.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. It's like because like with last season we were talking about, yeah, he should leave Phoenix. Like Phoenix is a trash organization. Then Chris Paul comes in, and it's like, oh, automatically we're better now. And also DeAndre Ayton has gotten better too.
Yeah, he has stepped up, and then with the addition of Jake Crowder, you know, it's just a lot of stuff that they've done right. You know, we've been saying, oh, this is a trash organization, but they've been doing a lot of right stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy for the Suns. I hope they go on. I really do. I mean, if not, I mean, if Denver goes or Portland goes or Utah go, like, I mean, I'm cool with that. I don't care. But
I mean, I will also be happy with Utah going because I also like Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about that. So he has an injury. He hadn't played like the last part of the season, so he had to sit out game 1. And Donovan was not happy about that. He was like, "No, that's BS. I want to play." Like we lost that first game because I didn't play.
Right. But I mean, they've won all 3 since. So I mean, you know.
Yeah. So I wonder. That's a situation I definitely keep an eye on in case things get a little screwy.
We'll see. But I mean, again, injury. You know, it's not like he was perfectly healthy and they're like, okay, we're not playing you game 1. Like that would have been something.
Yeah.
But coming off of an injury, it's I would say it's better to lose 1 game in the first round than to be in the conference finals and then he goes down because he played too early, re-injures it, and then you have no chance of going to the finals. And even if you do, you have no chance of winning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, right now, given what we know, I would love to see Milwaukee in the finals, and I would love to see either Phoenix.
I want Drew to get a ring. Honest to God, like he deserves it.
I mean, honestly, if we get Milwaukee versus Phoenix, that's like a win-win because either way, Drew gets a ring or Chris Paul gets a ring. Either way, it's a win-win right there.
I'd be happy with that.
And honestly, like I feel like a lot more fans would be entertained by that than a Lake.
Well, yeah, because now fans are going to be happy for Booker and Chris Paul. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna be happy for Giannis. Oh, Giannis finally got to the finals. Like
Giannis is so likable. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like both of those teams honestly have really likable players on them. Like as opposed to Brooklyn Lakers, I would say most of the players are pretty likable on both of those teams.
Yeah. I mean, and also too, another thing we gotta watch out too. Joel Embiid got hurt last night. How long he's gonna be out for? And Ben Simmons, we know, is not the best shooter, so that's gonna be interesting for Philly.
But I mean, they've got 3 chances to win a game, so I think that they'll close that series at some point.
But I don't know how serious that injury for Joel is. How long is he gonna be out? Because even if they win this series, next series got to play the Hawks. The Hawks are not gonna be easy. I don't know. I think the Hawks will be a good series. They'll win a game or two. You know, and if Joel,
most definitely. And I mean, honestly, I think in 5 years, the Hawks may be one of the best teams in the East because they're all really young, and I really think that they could be the best team in the East in like 5 years.
Yeah, depending if there's any other super teams that form. Maybe Atlanta's next super team. Maybe if they get like one more superstar, are they not a super team? Like, because I mean,
I would say yeah. But at what position would you say?
See, I don't know.
We'll see.
I really don't know. That's a great question. That team's got a good roster. That's like low key, it's a good roster.
Yeah, and it's a young roster. So
yeah. So I want to talk about the Pelicans real quick because I mean, obviously the offseason has now started for us. I think we're projected to get the 10th pick in the draft. I think. So that's interesting. So there's some rumors out there. the rumors of players that might be willing to, part ways with their teams. I saw somewhere maybe De'Aaron Fox might want out. Maybe if Portland doesn't do well in this series against Denver, maybe Dame will finally have enough and maybe would want out. And then I'm looking at Cleveland. They're saying maybe Colin Sexton might be on
Yeah,
there.
I've been seeing that, Colin Sexton.
That. Now obviously my dream is either to get Levine or Beal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Chicago wants to keep Levine, and I don't know if Beal probably is going to stay in Washington. But I'm really looking at De'Aaron Fox and Colin Sexton. I'm looking at those two guys, and I'm like,
and both those guys would be very good options.
Very
both
good.
Are young, both are very promising.
Also in Miami, there's talks of maybe trading Duncan Robinson, and maybe even Tyler Hero, because they're not too happy with Tyler Hero because of the way his performance was in the playoffs or whatever. So the Pelicans got some options, I think, for trades if they really want. I think De'Aaron Fox is the most underrated.
Now, are we looking to give up Lonzo Ball for one of these players?
I'm thinking Lonzo's going to be a sign and trade deal. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think Lonzo's going to be asking for too much money, and the Pelicans are not going to be able to pay for it. But they don't want to lose him for nothing. You know what I mean?
Hey, I would give up Lonzo for a guy like Colin Sexton, De'Aaron Fox, Duncan Robinson. I would definitely give up Lonzo for one of those guys.
Because David Griffin came out in his press conference at the end of the year. He was like, we need to prioritize shooting. That was a big problem for New Orleans because offensively in the paint, they were amazing because of Zion. And offensively, they were a good team. It's just they don't have the shooting. You know what I mean? They're not – a lot of games they only made 5 threes or 6 threes the whole game. So that's something they need to definitely prioritize.
Right. Yeah.
A Duncan Robinson would be great. I think De'Aaron Fox is probably one of the most underrated players in the NBA because
100% because he's on Sacramento. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But he's a borderline all-star. You know what I mean?
100%. And it's not like a conventional big three, but you've got Zion, Brandon Ingram, and De'Aaron Fox. That's a pretty good big three, I would say.
And his thing too, I think BI has to be your third best player, honestly. Obviously, Zion's got to be your number one guy, but if you have Fox as your number two guy on the perimeter, I think that's.
I think BI is like a worser version of Kevin Durant, which he's not bad, but he's got the similar skill set to Kevin Durant. So that is not a comparison that you should be upset about,
Basically, Zion's like Shaq, BI's like KD. I don't know where I would rank De'Aaron Fox, what player he reminds me of, but that's the kind of skill set you would have with this team. And it's weird because I like a lot of these players on this Pelicans team. I thought Kyra for his rookie year when he played, I thought he played pretty decently. Nikhil had some good moments. Jackson Hayes was amazing, I thought.
Oh yeah, I would definitely keep Jackson Hayes. That's not one guy that I'd be willing to part with.
The only guy I would get rid of if I had to get rid of somebody would be Eric Bledsoe. Everyone else, I'm like
Eric Bledsoe. I don't know, honestly, but Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball for De'Aaron Fox with draft capital going either way is not a bad trade, I would say, for both sides.
No, and I saw some things where we might be looking to trade Steven Adams. I'm like, I don't want to trade Steven Adams. We gave him a huge extension. That was part of the Drew Holiday trade. If we get rid of Bledsoe and Adams, all the things we got for the Holiday trade is basically gone now. All we have is the picks.
But it just depends on what necessarily we can get in return for those guys. But I don't necessarily say get rid of Steven Adams because as big as Zion is, he's definitely more of a power forward than a center.
Well, he's more of a point guard at this
point. But
I think they figured out how to play both of them on the court at the same time. If Zion be bringing the ball up, he doesn't have to be set up in the paint. He brings the ball up, and you'd have Adams patrolling the paint. That worked out to me. The same thing with Hayes. Hayes comes in off the bench, kind of the same deal. And Hayes is a little bit more athletic than Adams is too, can score better. But Adams is there for defense and rebounds. That's his job, and he does that well. So I keep him around, But the only person I get rid of really would be Eric Bledsoe. Everyone else.
If a starting lineup could be Steven Adams, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, De'Aaron Fox, and then I don't know, let's say Kyra is in the starting lineup. That's not a bad starting lineup, I would say.
And also we got Didi from Australia. We got him back. We got him now on the team when we drafted him 2 years ago. We finally got him on the roster, and he's gonna be part of the organization next year. So to see him and his role in the team would be interesting to see as well. Because he only played 3 games last year, I think. So yeah, so the Pelicans have a lot of options, and I don't know what they're gonna do with that draft pick if they do get up at 10. I mean, there's a lot of good prospects this year that I like. So I wonder what direction they're thinking of going. But I think the Pelicans have to either get somebody big in free agency, which I don't think they're going to do because I don't know if they have the cap space. But if they can pull off a major trade, that's probably what they got to do. Pull off
Yeah.
a trade.
I mean, look, I'm saying it right now. Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball for De'Aaron Fox or something like. I mean, I would honestly target De'Aaron Fox out of that list,
I
but
want to. I mean, look, Colin Sexton would not be a bad because Colin Sexton is the best player in Cleveland.
I don't see after I guess the success because it wasn't really a lot of success, but the success and the promise that you're seeing from Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. I don't know why you'd want to break that up. Like,
I don't know. Like Cleveland's like ever since LeBron left has been a dumpster fire. So I don't know what they're doing over there. And they have some nice young players. Like they have some talent on that team. It's just I don't know what direction they're trying to go into. Like I don't know what their goal is at this point.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess they just don't know how to handle it.
And then with the Kings, it's like in the West, you need to have a super team basically in order to compete. It's like the Kings are not getting the big name players. Like that's not happening. So they're kind of just stuck in this
Limbo.
Yeah. So I mean, if De'Aaron Fox is for sale, hell, I'm buying. Like let's go. Like
What's your price? What's your price?
I mean, I think that's we need one more superstar. That's all we need. I think just one more superstar.
Yeah, I agree.
So, also real quick, Jordan Clarkson did win Sixth Man of the Year, very well deserved. He had a great season. MVP talks. It's looking like Jokic will win MVP, which I would have rather Chris Paul or Steph Curry win it, but I can't argue. He had a good season. I mean.
Yeah, and I mean Jokic is definitely very important to that team. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy if the MVP is actually going to the most valuable person on their team. Which I mean, if that was the case, I guess Steph would be a no-brainer. But I also understand Jokic because I mean, there's not a lot of centers who can do what he does, and that team definitely thrives whenever he's on.
And then with Jamal figuring out, I mean, he's the offense basically. Like he takes everything. So I mean, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like he's probably gonna get it, which he does. I think he deserves it. But like,
yeah, I mean, would he not be the first center since Shaq to win it?
I think so. And you got, I mean, I still think Chris Paul. I think is better because he's more important. I think to Phoenix's run.
And but I mean, also. Yeah, I mean, out of principle, I would say give it to Steph because whenever you take Steph off of the court, the Warriors are god awful, and Steph single-handedly, almost took them to the playoffs.
Yeah, but he almost beat the Lakers in the play. Like that's if LeBron didn't hit some lucky shot, the Warriors would have won that game probably. Like, which I was praying for. I was like, please.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like you take. I can see the argument for Chris Paul, but Devin Booker is a good player. Like Devin Booker is a really good player, and DeAndre Ayton started playing good. So I mean, now maybe if you take Chris Paul off, I don't think that they're the 2 seed, but they're definitely in playoff contention. And I mean, I would say same thing with the Nuggets, but the Nuggets is a little different because I don't really think that there's another center in the NBA like Jokic right now. So that's why I can understand him being MVP.
The closest center I think would be Joel Embiid, but like Joel Embiid doesn't get triple doubles. Like,
and I mean, he's also very injury prone. So I mean, at the end of the day, if they give it to Jokic, I'm fine with it. It's okay.
I find it funny because like everyone talks about how it's a guard-centered league. Like everyone focuses on the point guards and all that. There's 3-point shooting and all that, and yet the last 3 MVPs would have been power forward and Giannis, and then you would have Jokic. Like, I find it funny how like they're winning MVPs, but yet it's a guard-centric league. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to look at like Giannis. Like Giannis, super dominant. Same thing with Zion, super dominant. Like it doesn't matter that they don't have a consistent 3-point shot. Who cares? They're still getting like 30 points a game, 26 points a game because they're just so dominant. Like if they have the ball and they're driving to the basket, 9 times out of 10 they're scoring, and if not, they're probably getting fouled. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of things going off. I think that's going to do it for us today. I don't know what else we need to talk about. I think they pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. And I mean, we're kind of, for the most part, these episodes will be, if we get any NFL trade news, but for the most part, it will be playoffs and basketball. And hopefully next time we go on the air, hopefully the Suns will be advancing forward in the playoffs. Come on, Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure if we get any Julio news, it'll go out somewheres.
I mean, in the next 48 hours, if there's not a Julio Jones trade, then I don't know if it's gonna happen. But I think once the deadline hits, well, it's not a deadline, but like once the cap hit gets lowered, if a team's not jumping on it, or if the Falcons
It's very possible that a trade has already been made. They're just waiting
possible.
for it to officially come out, officially make it and stuff like that. Because we know, I mean, we always know that there's trades that happen before trading opens, because I mean, trading opens and like 5 minutes later you have like this big trade that comes out. It's like, oh yeah, this wasn't formed in 5 minutes, so
And nothing too.
it's very possible that a trade has already been made.
It's like the Falcons could have made this trade yesterday if they wanted to. Like the only reason why today was a big day is because of the cap hit. If they trade him after 3:00 today, the cap hit is lower, so it'd be cheaper for the Falcons to trade him instead of, because it'd be like with Carson Wentz, right? The Colts are taking on that contract, right? If maybe they would have waited, maybe it would have been a lower. I don't know, but like it's all financial stuff that I don't understand. But that whole deal.
How you liking your Colts so far?
I like it. They're doing pretty good. I'm excited for Carson, man. I think this is gonna work.
I think it could. I mean, listen, we're talking about taking him from one of the worst lines to arguably the best line in the NFL. Plus, they added Eric Fisher.
Yeah, from the Chiefs, big time pick.
Which was a number 1 overall pick, like not even just a first round, a number 1 overall pick. So
him and Big Q. Man, the run game. They re-signed Marlon Mack too. So like the backfield is loaded. We got three-headed monster at back.
I mean, if Big Q and Eric Fisher play on the same side of the field, no sacks will be recorded from that side. Like honestly, just put them both. Carson Wentz is right-handed, right?
Yeah.
So just literally put them both on the left side. He will never get sacked from his blind side. Like I promise.
Costanzo to retirement, and he was the left tackle. So Eric Fisher is going to replace him on the left side. That's what's going to happen. Big Q is only allowed. He's played 3 seasons. He's only allowed 3 sacks.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, you put them both on the left side, and Carson Wentz will literally have nothing to worry about.
For real. And like I'm saying, if somehow we can pull off a Julio Jones trade, I mean, Jesus Christ. And this is the most important thing. Carson Wentz, from the interviews, and if you saw him playing horse or whatever, not horse, out with Cox, who was a legit college basketball player, by the way.
I don't know if it was. I think it was D1.
He was a D1.
No, yeah, it was D1. He was a D1 basketball player and a starter too.
He was a legit basketball player. Anyway, but Carson looks happy, and I think that's the biggest thing. Carson wasn't happy in Philly. Now he's in a place where the Colts have a great culture of like, we're not just bringing in talented guys. We're bringing in people that care and that like have good character. Like we're bringing in guys that are going to be like camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously like Darius Leonard's a big part of that. Like, I think he's the leader of that team at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And obviously you have old Specs, Blankenship, my boy Rodrigo. That man's a GOAT. He's gonna be the next Vinatieri, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean now that Vinatieri's gone.
Yeah. Hats off to Vinatieri. I mean, GOAT kicker. I mean,
GOAT kicker, obviously. If you think otherwise, you're just wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the Colts, and nothing too. Kwity Paye might be defensive rookie of the year.
He might be. I mean, it's possible.
Him and D-Buck and Leonard on, I mean, the Colts are in position to do some damage. I have a prediction though. You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Number 1 seed in the AFC. Guess who it's gonna be?
Not the Chiefs.
No, I got the Bills as the number 1 seed.
I actually can see that. I really think that the Bills can get the number 1 seed because I think the Bills are poised.
You know what guys are 2 seed?
The Ravens. No, not the Ravens.
The Colts.
The Colts. Oh my God. All right. Okay. All right.
I got the Browns at the 4th seed. How about that?
I can only see the Browns, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. Chiefs aren't known for losing a lot of regular season games, so
I don't know. I just feel like the Chiefs are gonna somehow have they're gonna win. They're gonna go 12-5 or something. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, they will.
They'll be Super Bowl contenders, no doubt. I'm not saying they're not gonna be in it at the end, but I'm saying regular season wise, they might. I don't know. They might drop a game or two. Who knows?
I think my team is going to be a wild card spot, and they're going to upset a team. I think that that's what's going to happen.
Well, let's do this real quick. What's the best out of all the offseason moves, whether it's trades, signings, draft, whatever? What's the best offseason move so far? Like, what's the move you were like, that's the best move
For any team?
Anything?
I don't know. I honestly, I feel like it may take a while, but I think the Bears drafting Justin Fields might turn out really, really good for them.
Wow.
I don't know if it's the best
Bombshell.
off-season move so far. And I mean, we still got guys that we don't know where they're going, Julio, Aaron Rodgers. But I think the Bears taking Justin Fields might pan out really well for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with it. I think I mean, look, the bar's not set really high, but like he could be the best quarterback in that franchise's history. And like I said,
Yeah.
the bar's not really high. Like they hadn't had the best luck with that. I think for me, it's Matt Stafford to the Rams. Because I think Jared Goff has been the one detriment to that team. Because I saw it whenever that Super Bowl run they went on. Well, Super Bowl run when they didn't deserve. Anyway, but Todd Gurley was banged up for most of that, and he was never the same. Like Jared Goff needed the run game. I feel like with Matthew Stafford, first off in Detroit, he barely had a run game. I feel like, you know what I mean?
He was still winning games. Winning games.
And then you give him probably the best defense he's ever had.
Plus some solid wide receivers in Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp.
And a good O-line. I think a very underrated O-line, I feel like. The Rams, I think, in that division are probably my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Because honestly, we're talking about 4 teams that could legitimately make the playoffs.
Super Bowl. All 4 of those teams, I could be like, I can see them making the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're the most stacked division in football at this point. Like, it's insane. That's going to be a fun division to watch all year. You know? But I think Matt Stafford to the Rams is the biggest move so far.
I just hope that my Cardinals can maybe get second place in the division. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for second place in the division.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I would put that. I really think that the Rams could win it, and then maybe the Cardinals, and then God, I don't even know. Like,
I mean, you look each team has like mega talent. I mean, it's wild to like. It's hard to pick a favorite because it's like any team could do it. Like, it's not like in the AFC East where it's like it's gonna probably be the Bills. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like,
I feel so bad for like the Dolphins and the Jets because they went from all this time of like the Patriots being like the team to now it's probably gonna start being the Bills every year. Like, it's really just gonna go back to one team winning it all the time.
Well, potentially, but I mean, rather the Bills and the Patriots.
Yeah. I don't know. That there like you said, there's no real offseason moves that other than like maybe Matthew Stafford and drafting Justin Fields that really stand out to me. Like nothing else.
Not even JJ Watt to the Cardinals. Come on, man.
I like JJ Watt to the Cardinals. I think it's a really good move, but I mean, you already had Chandler Jones. So I mean, it's not like it was a position that was really needed. It's good to have. But I don't know. Maybe the Eagles getting lucky and Devontae Smith falling to them. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what move at the time that I did not like, but I'm like, you know what, this works out. The Bengals getting Jamar Chase. I hated it at the times. I thought they needed to get the tackle, Sewell. But like, I'm like, you know what though? I think Joe told the Bengals to draft Chase though. It's like that was Joe's decision. If that was Joe's decision, then okay. Like that's him. You know.
I mean, we'll see how it turns out. We'll see. You know.
But I'm starting to like it though.
It could be
growing on me.
It could end up being really good. It could end up being really bad. We don't know. We'll have to see and find out.
Yeah. Very interesting offseason for the NFL. And it's not ending. I mean, like I said, Julio Jones. I mean, we're about at this time right now, we're about an hour and a half away from 3 or so.
Yeah.
I mean, anything could be popping off anytime soon. So I'm excited. This is good. We're 100 days officially from the season too, by the way.
100 days. Start the countdown.
You want to talk about the schedule real quick? Because so they're opening the first game of the season is Cowboys Buccaneers, which is just a bleh game. Like, I get the appeal, but like for me, terrible. 2 teams that I hate, and they're opening the season. Gross. But yeah, the Saints have to play the Packers week 1. That would be interesting with the Aaron Rodgers thing, and depending who the Saints pick as quarterback, which I think is gonna be Jameis. But
it better be Jameis. If it's not Jameis, I'm not. Unless Taysom comes back with this godly throwing ability.
He said he was in Iowa working just at being quarterback, so I wonder,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he somehow comes back with these godly throwing abilities, then maybe. But other than that, I don't know.
we
I'd
didn't
rather
talk about
James.
this. We didn't get a chance to until now. The Saints did draft Ian Book, I think in the third or fourth round, whatever it was. What do you make of that pick? Like, I mean,
I
people are
mean,
saying he's secretly like a really good quarterback from Notre Dame. Like,
yeah, I'm sure he's good, but I mean, honestly, I think that's more for depth than anything.
well, I think if Jameis fails and Taysom fails, I mean, here you go. You got a young guy that you can groom and So I mean, I think the Saints, no matter who they pick, is gonna win like 8 games, 8 or 9 games. That's what I'm picking.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah,
think
especially with Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas hopefully being back to Michael Thomas.
Yeah. And I'm seeing workout videos. Jameis is working out with like the receivers too, which I like a lot seeing. So I think right now it's Jameis's job to lose, to be honest. I mean, everyone's saying it's gonna be a competition, but I feel like it's Jameis's job to lose. Like
Yeah, probably.
the Saints were smart to draft him. I mean, not draft to sign him to like another 1 year deal. That way, in case he just ends up sucking, like, okay, we got Taysom, we signed him for a 4 year deal somehow, but all voidable years, whatever that means. Like we'll have Taysom for a while. So I mean, it could all work out, I think. So
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. We'll be back next week.
Next week.
Again, hopefully the Julio Jones thing happens, and obviously, if any fans decide to do something stupid, we'll get to talk about that too.
We sure will. Hopefully, Phoenix will be moving on to the second round
Also, the
next
Mavericks.
time we talk. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully. How funny would that be if the Clippers and the Lakers both lose in the first round? I mean, come on, that's hilarious.
It'd be very funny. It'd be very interesting.
Poetic justice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your week.